Welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast coming from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is January 11th, 2011, 111111. It's 11:30 a.m. There's too many 111s. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 in Hamilton, and in Mexico City it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX overseas, or AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. In the United States, there's still more fallout on the wounded Congresswoman, Gabrielle Giffords, in Tucson, Arizona. Her situation is unchanged, suffering a bullet wound to the head. 6 people were killed on Saturday in Tucson. President Obama is going to be attending a memorial ceremony in Tucson on Thursday, so we'll keep an eye on that actually. Well, we'll go to our main news. This is very big news, but it sort of snuck through. Our very first interview on CATEX-TV was with Deputy New York Insurance Superintendent Michael Moriarty on this topic. But the New York State Insurance Department has become the second state regulator to reduce its collateral requirements for alien reinsurers. And Hanover Re is the first company to benefit from the new relaxed rules. They've been granted eligible reinsurance status by the department. The company can now write non-life reinsurance business under improved conditions in the state of New York. Previously, foreign reinsurers, as what Hanover had been, would have to have posted collateral of 100% for the technical reserves, but the required level has now fallen to just 20%. New York is the biggest volume market in Hanover's U.S. portfolio, so this has a big bearing on the reinsurer. Hanover's CEO, Ulrich Wallen, said, "We welcome the decision of the New York State Insurance Department. It improves free access for international reinsurers to the American market." The department's decision in New York follows a similar decision taken by its Florida counterpart last year. The companies that have piled into Florida started with Hanover, that included XL Re, Ace, Tempest Re, Hiscox, and Partner Re. This may be changing. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Virginia are all supposedly looking into cutting back the collateral requirements for foreign reinsurers. In some respects, this was a fait accompli in New York. They've been discussing the New York Insurance Exchange revitalization, so this would be a logical step on that path. Well, we're going to switch to Australia. This is a picture of Brisbane, Australia. Thriving city, very tranquil. It's the home of several 100,000 people. This is probably how it's going to look tomorrow. This is the city of Toowoomba, about 80 miles away. There is a wall of water moving toward Brisbane as we speak. It's left at least 10 people dead and 78 people missing. The wave is over 10 feet high. It's coming on in a matter of seconds. The violent surge in Toowoomba brought the overall death toll in the Queensland state to 20. The Queensland Premier, Anna Bligh, said there are grave fears for at least 18 of those people missing. In Brisbane, they're expecting 9,000 homes to be swamped. The Brisbane River overflowed its banks today. Officials evacuated the office buildings and indicated that the downtown area could be inundated in coming days. In Toowoomba, the raging water was strong enough to rip homes off their foundations. Brisbane is expecting an apocalyptic kind of event, and it's probably happening right now with the time difference. The reinsurance community in Australia is now expected to be hit with some large claims, especially if Brisbane is inundated by this flood. Lloyd's broker, RFIB Director International Business Simon Barnes says if the Brisbane River breaks its bank, which is done already, and certainly with the redevelopment work in Brisbane that's been going on there over the last 20 years, I think it will change the size of the loss completely. Barnes said it's going to be a big loss, especially if Brisbane is really badly hit. Suncor and AIG buy big programs, and then there's the question of what QBE has in the market. Brisbane City Council has released a new flood map with up to 40,000 homes at risk from the flood. This is Australia's third largest city. The Brisbane River is expected to flow at up to 12,000 cubic meters of water per second. News from Germany, Allianz has increased its investment in China Pacific Insurance Group. This is a move that's going to obviously bolster their presence in Asia. Allianz, which is Europe's largest primary insurer by gross premium and income, said over the weekend that it's investing $855 million in shares issued by China Pacific Corporation, which it's purchasing as part of a sale by the Carlyle Group. The acquisition raises Allianz's stake in China Pacific to 2.8%. Allianz previously had invested $150 million in the IPO. China Pacific is among the 3 largest life insurers and property insurers in China. Well, the U.S. state of New Jersey has passed a bill that makes it a captive insurance domicile. Its blatant goal is to emulate the state of Vermont as one of the main onshore domiciles for captive operations. Vermont is not alone in offering captive insurance services in the U.S. Hawaii, South Carolina, Nevada, Utah, the District of Columbia, Arizona, and New York also have a number of captives. However, New Jersey has followed Vermont's rule. The bill in places follows the Vermont statute word for word. Since the beginning of last year, there's been momentum in Trenton to become a leading eastern rival to Vermont in what Vermont has achieved with their captive reinsurance and insurance company community. The New Jersey laws now require that a captive insurer have a minimum unimpaired paid-up capital and surplus of $250,000 for a pure captive and $500,000 for a sponsored captive and $750,000 for an association captive. The exact same limits as applied in Vermont. The stock market in New York is up right now about 57 points, mainly on news that Japan has indicated that it's going to buy euro debt. This is propping up, or actually alleviating some concerns that Europe's headed to another debt crisis. We'll go to a word from our sponsors.
Design for peace.
Well, like Yogi Berra said, it's not over till it's over. And if you're a shareholder of Brit, you've got to be pulling your hair out. Achilles, the private equity consortium that's supposed to buy Brit, has extended the deadline for shareholder acceptance of its offer. This is the second time they've extended it. Brit shareholders now have until 1 o'clock London time on the 22nd of January to accept the £10.75 a share offer from Achilles. The Achilles Consortium is seeking acceptance of 95% of Brit shareholders. They had originally scheduled a deadline for December 27th, but at that date they'd only received a shade under 71% of acceptances, and then they pushed it to January 10th. As of January 10th, they actually had gone down. They had seen valid acceptances down to 70.49%. So if the acceptance level has not been reached by the 22nd of January, per the agreement, Achilles still has scope to extend the deadline further or to lower the offer threshold. Amazing. Well, we haven't heard about the A380 in a while. Let's hope we don't, other than stories like this. Qantas Airways is going to resume its A380 flights from Australia to Los Angeles this weekend. They've been halted, of course, for 2 months after the exploding engine over Singapore. In a statement this morning, Qantas said it's satisfied with the safety of its engines following extensive engineering analysis and consultation with Rolls-Royce, the maker of the engine. Alan Joyce said, "We're now confident we can begin to fly the A380 to and from Los Angeles without any conditions on the use of maximum engine thrusts." The flights have been grounded, of course, since November 4th. The first flight to Los Angeles from Melbourne, Qantas Airlines Flight 93, is scheduled to depart on Sunday. Here's the interesting part here. Qantas has resumed its A380 flights from Australia to London via Singapore, but they've delayed the LA flights for more testing because this route requires more fuel and engine thrust. For these flights, the A380s have to carry more fuel than any other flight to make the journey. It makes the planes heavier when they take off, requiring more thrust from the A380's 4 engines. The airline wanted to ensure that the extra thrust did not put unsafe stress on the engines. Qantas has launched legal action in Australia to sue Rolls-Royce over losses from the incident. Well, last week in Northern Africa, it was Algeria that blew up with civil disturbances. Today, it's the neighboring country of Tunisia. Schools and universities have been shut in the country following weeks of protests over high unemployment and the cost of living. Fresh clashes broke out yesterday on campuses throughout the country. The Paris-based International Federation for Human Rights say that at least 35 people were killed in violence over the weekend after security forces shot at demonstrators, prompting calls for restraint from the international community. Protests traditionally have been very rare in Tunisia, which has had only 2 presidents since independence from France 55 years ago. You can be sure that SCORE Re is watching this closely. Well, in the United States, here's a picture of Atlanta yesterday. Yes, that is in fact a gentleman cross-country skiing in Olympic Park across from the CNN studios. Atlanta had about 4.5 to 5 inches of snow yesterday. They're still digging out. There are massive flight disruptions at Hartsfield International Airport still. That storm, it's making its way toward us. There's a shot as what's expected tomorrow. You can see that the New York metropolitan region is expecting anywhere from 6 inches up to 12 inches of snow. The icy mix is now in the Carolinas and moving into the nation's capital sometime this afternoon. As a result, it is possible that we might have a scheduling interruption tomorrow if we're unable to get into Princeton to beam this television show out to you. If that's the case, we'll put a notice on our website. Anyway, that's all of the news that we have for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. If not, thank you for watching, and hopefully we will see you tomorrow.